You're listening to episode number 12 of the Wise Photographer podcast. Your website is your online store. It's where people can learn more about you, check out your vibe, see your work, and connect with you for more information. I absolutely love web design. I think I was a website designer in another lifetime. If this whole photography thing doesn't work out for me, I totally am going to go into that. If social media is your introduction or your invitation, your website is the party. You have complete control over your users' experiences, and there's so many fancy things you can do. With all the fancy bells and whistles that you can have on your website, there are 5 must-have aspects that need to be on your website as a photographer. Today, we're chatting all about them.
Welcome to the Wise Photographer podcast with your host, Chelsea Wise. Each week, Chelsea is bringing you the best tips and tricks to help you create a joyful, profitable, more purpose-filled photography business. Chelsea is a wife and mom of 2 who has built a thriving photography business in her tiny hometown in western North Dakota. Without further ado, here's your host, Chelsea Wise.
All right, guys, the most important page on your website is often the most overlooked as photographers, and this is the About Me page. This is one of the most viewed pages on my website. This is where clients get to know me, my family, learn about my husband's heart surgeries, and how it changed me as a person. It sums up all the work you did back in episode 11, where we dug into creating your personal brand. It's where you get to be creative with your words and your visuals. Photographers can kind of struggle with the wording side of things. Another option is to create a video. The Hollis Company has a great video that showcases their company values. Another way of structuring your About Me page is by taking a play out of the Jenna Kutcher handbook and using a Madlib style About Me page. Marie Forleo's About Me page showcases where she is now, which is pretty impressive, but it also lets you know where she started. Whatever you do, please, for the love of all things holy, do not write, "I've had a camera in my hand since I can remember and I love coffee." You are worth so much more than that. Plus, have you really had a camera in your hand since you were born? Probably not. Get original, dig into who you are, why you really started this business, and showcase that to your clients. The next thing that should be on your site as a photographer is your portfolio. Now, my portfolio gets updated about once a year. However, in my earlier years, I was updating it almost after every shoot. Here's the thing about your portfolio. You do not have to show every photo you have ever taken. You don't even have to showcase every session or wedding that you photographed. Get picky about choosing images that are in your portfolio. Showcase only what you want to shoot and nothing else. If you only want to photograph weddings, then don't showcase things like family reunions, sweet 16s, and newborn photos on your portfolio. It should be extremely clear what it is that you offer, the style of your images, and what clients can expect when they hire you. One of the best things that I did last year was to add an extra step in my workflows before I closed their project. I got this idea from Caitlin James. So what I do is I go to my online gallery where I house all my images for my clients. And I open up my client's gallery and I flag and download images that I think that I might want to add to my portfolio when I do update it in the fall. Then I've created another collection or another gallery inside of my online gallery system. I use CloudSpot. And I call this 2019 portfolio. Then I upload those images that I just downloaded from my client's gallery and save them there. This does a few different things. It makes it so much easier to update my portfolio in the fall. And number 2, I have all of my best work in one spot that I can pull images for social media and for blog posts.
We'll get right back to the podcast, but first, the sponsor for this episode, Trello for Photography. Trello for Photography is an online course that walks you through how to get the most out of Trello to organize your client workflows, keep up with your blogging schedule, and ensure that you never forget what day you're in charge of snacks for the soccer team. No matter if you're a portrait photographer, wedding photographer, offer in-person sales, or digital only, Trello for Photography has a workflow board for you. Having an amazing workflow process that you can replicate over and over is the key to creating raging fans who are singing your name anytime someone's looking for a photographer. Inside Trello for Photography, you'll gain access to my favorite boards, including boards called the 30,000-Foot View, Step Into My Office, and my most used board, My Week. The My Week board actually is where you're going to plan everything that needs to get done each and every day of the week. It's seriously the only way I'm able to keep up with my business, kids, and the housework. You'll gain access to videos walking you through how to use each and every board. Best of all, you get complete lifetime access to boards and updates. Just copy them to your account and start saving time and actually getting things done. Never question whether or not you ordered that album for that wedding client or spend hours searching for a PIN number for a gallery that someone forgot. Best of news, Trello for Photography is just $29. You spend more than that on a single manicure. To find out more and enroll, head over to TrelloForPhotography.com. That's TRELLOFOR photography.com.
The next thing that you need to have on your website are client testimonials. On my site, I call these client love notes. This is where you're going to showcase the social proof of your business. Think about it. Would you pay $3,000 for something without reading a single review? I know I wouldn't for sure. So how do you actually get these reviews? Ask your clients. If you've done your job right and provided an amazing experience and beautiful images, your clients are going to be more than happy to leave you a review. The key to this is automating this step. I have an email that goes out from Honeybook to my clients about 50 days after their wedding. And it just asks them if they can leave a review. And I've made it so easy for them. I've got links included where they can leave a review on Google and on Facebook. This way, I constantly have testimonials coming in and I don't have to think about it because this email gets sent out automatically. I also suggest when you are uploading these testimonials onto your website that you include one of the pictures of your clients. This kind of helps to establish a little bit more trust. Plus, you already have pretty easy access to those images already because you are the photographer, right? All right, the next thing that you need to have on your website is a link to your blog. We talked all about blogging back in episode 11, so if you haven't checked that out, I highly suggest you check that out for some tips on how to create an editorial calendar and make sure that you're coming up with new and fresh content that is always relevant for your clients. Now, after you've gone through and done all the work of creating these blog posts to help your clients go through the session planning process and to kind of let them know a little bit more about you, you want to make sure that you're highlighting these posts on your website. So you could have a section where you highlight some of your help content. If you're not sure what I'm talking about when I say help content, please go back and check out episode number 10 where I broke down the 3 types of content and how to choose your blogging categories. All right, the final thing that you want to make sure is included on your website is your website contact form. I have a contact form that is linked directly to my client management software, Honeybook. This form collects all the information that I need from couples right away, like their names, their email addresses, wedding date, location, and how they heard about me. It also asks them another fundamental question. And that question is, tell me about your wedding. What are you looking for in your photographer? This lets me see where they are in their planning process and helps me to see if they're a good fit. A bride who replies with just a simple one-liner might not be the best fit for me. I love that Honeybook automatically pulls all of this information and gets it all queued up and ready for me and alerts me as soon as someone inquires. This also means that I can start the booking process right away, even from my phone, and no one ever falls through the cracks. If you do have a lot of people that are messaging you on Facebook or on Instagram, especially on Facebook, you can set up auto messages that point people towards your website to fill out your contact forms. That way, it's all going into one spot and you're not trying to keep track of all these different inputs of where people are trying to contact you from. All right, guys, these are the non-negotiable things that you need to have on your website as a photographer. I would love to check out your guys' website. Head over to the Wise Photographer Podcast Insiders group on Facebook. You can search for it on Facebook, Wise Photographer Podcast Insiders, or you can head to the link in the show notes below to take you right there. Go ahead and share your websites. I'd love to see what they look like. I want to see how creative you guys are getting with your About Me pages. All right, guys, that is it for this week. I will see you next week. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Wise Photographer podcast. Dive into the show's notes for this episode and all past episodes at www.thewisephotographer.com. If you loved the show, share it with a friend. Thanks for tuning in, you Wise Photographer, you.